barely alive. Not gonna lie, got as much sleep and rest as I could, but as per usual with me, that wasn't much, or very consistent what I'm doing. So basically, I just said screw it, since clearly there's no point in taking a 2 week off if I'm just gonna be basically miserable. I basically just said screw it and basically hit the ground running. I just got back, hence the let me sleep edition of clothing here. Basically, I decided I'd get this video recorded ahead of time by about a day, just so it means this way in case I wind up crashing for too long, I won't have to. Sorry. Like I said, been rough. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a quick opinion video, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I do actually recommend you sticking around to the end because I actually have two big announcements. So, the opinion video is probably pretty simple. It's probably pretty basic. It's probably not even very out there. But honestly, my opinion is this. Common sense is not used enough. Let me give some backstory. So I've been paying attention to what's been going on with the video game industry as best I can. I'm going to tell you right now, so much of what's going down that's stupid over there and failing over there, so much of it is just a lack of common sense, a lack of reality, a lack of understanding. So much of it, to the point where it honestly almost borderlines on comedy even. The facts are, is pretty much all these awful decisions could easily be corrected, fixed, and with interest just by adding a dash of common sense, a dash of reality, a dash of non-stupidity. It's unfortunate, but it is a truth, is that much of these terrible, awful decisions, it's easy to just wipe them away as greed. It is, because, let's be honest here, that is a large, giant portion of it. Period. Greed. But that's just not all that's there for why this is happening. In fact, there are a total of 3 specific components for why these awful, idiotic, brain-dead decisions are happening. 1 is greed. It is the largest portion of it for many of them. Number 2 is called stupidity, aka lack of realism / common sense. This one's lacking quite massively, and it doesn't help for it feeds into the third one. Idiotic delusions. The thing is that for some of these companies, for some reason, just doing the stupid and the greedy isn't enough. For them, they have these delusions of, I should be praised for screwing people over. I should be praised for conning people out of $70 or above dollars. There's this delusion of, I am hot shit, and that everything I do is great and golden. But in reality, no it isn't. In fact, all it's doing is causing you more trouble, costing you more profits than you could have made. Hell, just Madden alone is a prime example of all 3 of these. Madden is a franchise that honestly could have made far more money than it has been in years. Why? Simple. They've been so focused on the wrong things that they've been pissing off not just the people who liked football, but also, or I should say American football for those out there, but also, it also does not help that you're also pissing off the whales, who are the only reason you make money at all. At all. Okay? Let me tell you right now, the only ones keeping Madden afloat, it isn't actually Madden fans. It's not actually American football fans. It is dumbasses who have no idea what money is, have a huge gambling addiction due to EA pumping that gambling addiction into them when they were pretty young. And that's only the start point. That's not the end of that story neither, okay? It doesn't help that honestly, EA has been using psychology to fucks with people's heads and get them to do what they want for so long that there is a high chance that you are probably a kid who was raised up on Madden games and as a result were conditioned, hypnotized, and conditioned to believe that this stuff was okay and the way things are when they are not. And they are not okay. The thing is that honestly EA has been doing this for a long time. The difference is that not enough people gave an F. Not enough people wanted to push back against horrible business practices like this. There wasn't enough people who were cared about Madden to want to push back. Too many were complacent, and as such, the whole thing is ruined. Hopefully, the people who love their college games, hopefully they push back. Hopefully they make sure that EA never forgets that no, they might have been suckered into buying your bullshit. We won't. Especially if they want to ensure that this franchise does not go the same way as Madden, which is down the proverbial crapper. The problem is, though, is that honestly, EA, Madden, these aren't even the only examples that can be pulled. They aren't. Hello, Xbox. Nice job firing all of your people, including people who you kept promising that you would not fire. You kept ensuring that they were not going to get fired for Redfall, and you fired them a year later for Redfall. Yeah, it sucks what happened to Redfall. It does. Is it a good game? Honestly, I don't think so, no. But I am a firm believer that it is salvageable. It's going to take a lot of effort and time, but it is salvageable. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer that even some of the worst games, if you put enough elbow grease, time, and effort in, you can fix them. Hell, even the awful Suicide Squad and friggin' Brain Dead Skull and Bones. I firmly believe that even those two games can be fixed if someone puts in the effort and the time to do so. The problem is that no one's doing that, is the problem. You see, that's the whole problem, is in order to fix these games that have so many problems, you have to put the effort in. You have to put the time in. You have to be willing to fix it to begin with. And honestly, I can give so many more examples, like freaking Forspoken. Even that's a bad game that honestly can be salvaged if you put the effort in. But no one did, hence why they are sucktastic. And again, it's not because they can't be fixed, it's because no one's putting the effort to fix them. And that's kind of the thing I just kind of want to emphasize here. If you're someone out there who is a game developer or someone who is running a game development studio, please remember this. Shareholders are nice and all that. Problem is, they're not what make you money. They don't. What they do is they give you some money for a piece of your pie. And even then, they expect a return of investment. Well, guess what? Those people who are telling you to make this game a constant 24/7 upswing are also suffering from the same thing that many others are. Delusion and unrealistic expectations. The facts are is there's always going to be a dip down. Always. No matter what. 24/7. There's always going to be a dip down. And guess what? That dip is going to get small, more and more. It's going to dip all the way down even. The less games you make. Well, guess what's a way to prevent that? Having teams to make games. I know, right? Turns out you fire all the people who make your games, you can only now make less and less games, therefore making less and less money. I know, shocker, whoever could have guessed. The thing is that honestly right now, Microsoft and Xbox are proving that they are awful places to be. And that honestly, pretty much every company that right now is under the wing is honestly better off just jumping ship. Because they're going to get fired. Hell, Xbox and Microsoft have been very clear that they're going to fire more people before this year is even done. And we've already beat last year's record for firing people. Yeah. And the thing is that there's no real excuse. There isn't. Yes, the Activision Blizzard deal costs $70 billion. Cool, you make trillions. And you're going to make all that back because of this acquisition. You're not going to make it instantaneously, no. But you are going to make it back with plenty of interest in time. And it kind of shows that they're not really thinking about the big picture or the medium picture, and they're barely even thinking about the small picture, honestly. Like, look, I'm not saying every person needs to be exactly like this, but I'm telling you right now, we need more of a balancing act between a businessman and this. Way back when I was a youngin', Satoru Iwata decided, instead of firing his employees, costing them jobs and their livelihoods, instead of putting them up in the lurch, he decided to take a 50% pay cut. Now I say 50% because technically it was 48.9, but for the sake of fuck it, that's damn near 50%. Just call it 50%. Half of his money, he had a half pay cut. And that wasn't even the only one. His second in command, who I'm still pissed I can't remember the name of, which disgusts me, like the CEO's like right-hand man, okay? Just to also ensure that they didn't get fired, took a 25% pay cut on top of that. Technically, I should just call it 30%, but some stupid person out there going to be like, but King is actually 20, I don't give a shite, okay? It's a lot that they're cutting of their own paychecks just to keep their people around. Because they know that if they are taken care of, and if the leader actually takes some fucking responsibility, instead of being a dumbass and pointing the blame anywhere else, they know that they would make their money back. They knew that they would fix things. They knew they would have the time to fix things. Guess what? They were right. The whole reason Nintendo's where it's at now is because of that act of proper, worth a damn leadership. This is something it frustrates me that no one seems to get it. It's great that you have some business sense. Really, that's great. But none of that means a fucking thing if you don't have employees to make the games. I'm going to tell you right now, your shareholders, they're not making your games. Period. That ain't happening. Guess what? Your executives, the board dudes, do you think they're making a video game? Fuck no. No, they're not. And if you think otherwise, you're an idiot who has no concept of reality or how to be objective about reality. The real world tells you, no, you ain't gonna make shit. Because they don't make the games. Sure, they profit off of them, but they don't make them. They don't. Look, I'm not saying that we're so clusterfucked we can't fix anything. That is a stupid lie, and I should smack somebody who says otherwise. We can still fix things here, okay? We can. We're not that far gone. It sucks where we're at, and it's bullshit that people have been fired for the dumbest cuck reasons imaginable. It is disgusting, disrespectful, and appalling. Okay? But we can still fix this giant sinking turd. We can fix it. We just have to put in the effort to fix it. Now, sure, I've been talking about doing my own development studio just so I can end this bullshit. This way I can ensure that there's at least one other company, because there's not enough. Let's be real here, there's not enough who are led by a proper leader who takes the fucking responsibility that they should when things go wrong. Who is willing to do what is needed to ensure that their people are taken care of. I am so sick of it. So you know what? I've been even struggling to figure out how could I pay for that person. How could I pay for the people? I've gone from everything from freaking the money being made from their games that they sell to freaking Kickstarter even though I have no clue if Kickstarter would even work for that purpose. At all, unfortunately. Honestly, it even less helps that by the time I would finally be able to actually give them an actual proper paycheck with my broke ass would be once we've kind of made a reputation and name for ourselves then. So quite literally, much to my disgust, they would have to go unpaid for too long if neither of those two methods are workable. I'm okay. I am okay. I am lying. I'm so badly lying. When it comes down to it, I'm honestly becoming so fed up with the way things are being run that I've lost count of how many times I've entertained the idea of starting up my own game development studio, just for the sake of spiting every jackass who has fired their employees for the fucking stupidest reasons known to man. It's driving me nuts. Especially since these people are quite genuinely the reason video games get sold, much less made at all. Great. And you just fired them like a fucking moron. I should beat the shit out of you with a fucking baseball bat covered in nails, you absolute dumb piece of shit. I love gaming. Sorry, very frustrating to watch all of this. The worst part is I'm slowly gaining the sensation that no matter who I would hire onto my game studio, we would succeed. Easily. That's not even like freaking arrogance or pride or confidence. That's just because you've been doing that bad. Fuck. Why are you making me feel like I could easily smoke check your ass? I'm a clown. I ain't supposed to look good compared to you. I'm supposed to be an example where you should rise above. The hell? Ugh. Ugh. Now my skin is crawly. Great. Okay. I got that over with. I got that done with. I screamed inside later. Let me just get to the announcements finally. First announcement. This one's pretty big for Digimon D&D. Looks like we're gonna have a third player. Hopefully they understand that I run the loosest ship imaginable, and that I am not going to give a shite about rules boring bullshit. This is about fun and enjoyment and just chaos. Pure, unfiltered, raw chaos. Hopefully they'll start to understand that, especially once we actually get into a game and kind of see that the way I run it is not for a rules lawyer. I do not. I have taken pretty much most rules from D&D and either actively ignored some of them, or actively flipped others the bird, or actively changed others. Quite genuinely. If you're a rules lawyer, you're going to hate my whole campaign. You really are. Because this thing is very much not about being truthful to Digimon or Digimon lore, or being truthful to D&D, mechanics, rules. It is chaotic by nature and intentionally. I'm having allergy attacks. Someone's been cutting their ass. Yeah. Anyways. Announcement. Plan numero dos. With the help of a very dear friend of mine, I am going to be actually starting up a series where I basically go one by one through as many D&D classes, and basically I just show you that there is a difference between being unfairly broken and just that your player was excited and cared. The facts are is I'm doing this mostly to vent, because I've lost count of how many times I've heard players getting basically treated like shit just because they played a druid or this or that. I am so tired of it. I'm so tired of this sickening, stupid illusion that they are flawless, overpowered, and immortal. No, that's not true. So I'm honestly, it's just mind-numbing. It's just very mind-numbing. So basically, I'm starting this whole series mostly so I can just vent. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The first one we're gonna do is Druid. That's gonna be the first one we do. Now here's the thing: is for that I have it set up for 2 fights. One fight that's homebrewed, and one fight that is basically a blast from the past. I'm not gonna say who. I'm just gonna say that they're in this version of them. They are superior. And I'm not gonna lie. When I told her to make a level 20 as busted as she can make it Druid, I hope she took that excessively literally, because otherwise this won't last long. Sorry. I'm just so sick of hearing players get put down because they were excited and wanted to make the best character they could make. And I am so sick of it. It pisses me off actively, especially when it's from a DM. When it's from a DM, I get throat punchy. Your player cared enough to make a character as best they could because they were excited to be in your campaign. The least you can effing do is not treat them like shit. So think of this more as just kind of me venting, which is why it's going to be called Gamin's Gripes. Yes, that's going to be the actual name for the entire thing. It will be going through every single class, and I'll pretty much be ending each video with talking about not only different ways you can kind of deal with certain characters, and some ways you can even, if you're trying to kill that character for whatever having reason, I'm going to give you basically an entire damn list of how to go about it. But primarily I'm going to be talking mostly about even classes that honestly aren't very good. Like, they're often viewed as kind of not great. I'm basically going to be going over a list of how you can take them from not being great to making them better. Both through you and your DM making some small changes to functions or forms, but also just by adding or subtracting certain things. And I'll basically be going all over all that stuff. Basically, to give you kind of a rough mental image, if you've ever wondered what it would be like if DNA Shorts was incapable of shutting up for 10 seconds, was mentally insane, slightly perverted, and random AF, but also did longer videos, kind of that, but make sure to add a lot of mental insanity. I'm not going to be going over half the stuff he himself has gone over. That's just matter of factly. And honestly, I wouldn't say, there might be some moments where something I bring up was also brought up by him. That can't really be helped at times. I'm going to try to avoid it as best I can, but there's at least 2 classes where that's just kind of hard to avoid. But I hope you will check it out. I hope those of you who have been watching Digimon D&D are excited for the 3rd player. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to get interesting, because it gives me a little more freedom to insert some stuff that I haven't been able to use for jack shit yet. And it's been bumming me out a little. So I hope you guys will check it out. I hope you guys will watch. It is going to be a slower season, though. It is going to be a lot slower because I am going to be basically bringing in a level 1 character. It's not that they're going to stay level 1 for too terribly long, but I kind of want them to be level 1 for a little while just to kind of get the grips on how I run the game, which is why I'm starting them at 1. I've already got the whole way that it'll be formatted. I got almost everything. I'm just trying to decide on the where now. Because I'm not going to lie, I can't really decide. Which leads me to another bonus. Ready? I'm actually going to be setting up a poll. I'm going to set up a poll for where the overall next area is. And by the way, to my players, yes, you can participate in the poll if you want. You don't have to. I'm not going to make you. But if you want to, you're more than welcome. There are going to be 4 options. There's going to be mountainous range. There's going to be and I'm not going to lie, I like the sound of this one, but I'm not sure because it kind of sounds a little too similar to the whole 2nd season's Atlantis dealie. So, but another one is a flooded disaster zone. Lastly, basically something equivalent to that of the Sahara meets Arabian Desert. Basically, it's going to be 4 options, like I said. I'm going to use better wording there because I'm tired now, so that. I hope those of you who want to participate in the poll, yes, that includes you, my dear players, to participate if you so choose. If you have your own suggestion, there is going to be a 5th option just called comment. Basically, if that one is picked, I'll basically be going and counting different places in comments section, counting votes. Just to make it a little quicker for those of you who do get likes or hearts or whatever have you. I'm not going to count the hearts because that comes from me, but I will count the likes. I will count the likes as an extra of someone voting for the same thing as you, basically. basically try to keep it civil. I know we can get competitive. We humans, we get competitive. But try to keep it civil to an extent. Now, I just want to say I missed y'all, honestly. I did. I'm kind of glad to be back. Unfortunately, I am going to be going back up there to celebrate my mom's birthday in 2 weeks, I think it was. Yeah, 2 weeks. So, I hope you guys managed to laugh at me, laugh with me. Hopefully you guys will get some jokes out of me, I don't know. Hopefully I will see you guys for Digimon D&D next week. No, really, next week. There's also going to be the first video of the Gamin's Gripes on Thursday. Or, sorry, not Thursday. Thursday. Ugh. There's also going to be a review coming up for a free-to-play game. No, really. And this one I have very complicated feelings for. But I will see you when I see you. Bye! And I hope you like the music playing in the background the whole time.